Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Paterson, and welcome back to a new video. Today, we're doing a video that I think every designer, creative, someone who's a freelance, whatever you do in the industry, will really like, but especially freelance designers, people who take commissions and really struggle with feedback. So today, I'm going to be giving you 5 top tips of responding to negative feedback. This video is brought to you by FreshBooks. So if you don't know who I am, let me introduce myself. I am Will Paterson. I'm a hand lettering artist, logo designer, and author, and I make these videos. And I make logo designs primarily as my job. That's what I do. It's what I love to do. Feedback from clients can be daunting. Sometimes it's a great thing to have. Sometimes it just goes really well and you hit the nail on the head. But if you're anything like me, which I'm sure you are, then you've probably struggled in the past with getting negative feedback and not knowing what to do, especially when you know that you're right. The first tip I want to give you is don't take it personally. This is a huge but cliche thing that you need to remember. Think about the process of the logo. Why do we create these logos? Why are we being commissioned for these logos? Well, it's because we're good at what we do and they've commissioned us because they know that we can do it. So any feedback that you get that is negative or anything that suggests they don't like what you've done, don't take it personally. Your work is not who you are. Your work is just basically an overflow of a passion, overflow of an education that you have in that specific sector. Don't take it personally. Now, the second tip is more of an example of what clients may say to you when you're showing them or presenting them a concept. They may say something along the lines of, okay, we like this, but move this over here. Or you see that leaf on the Apple logo, make it bigger. Now, as someone who's been a freelancer for many years and now owns a design agency in Northern England, I know that it can be difficult for clients to relinquish trust towards the designers the whole time. Now, what happens is you start to realize that designers want to have a bit of control and a bit of collaboration, which isn't a bad thing to have. It's actually a really good sign of a good client. But what you'll start to see is clients telling you what to do. And as a designer, this is cringeworthy. And as a designer, this is kind of like, why did you hire me? But as a client, they don't know. They don't know that that's not what you're supposed to do. And unfortunately for designers, it's something that we have to not put up with, but use to our advantage. There's a few options of either what's going on here. You can get a client that likes to be the designer, or you can get a client that has spotted a mistake. Now, if it's a mistake, you need to fix it pretty sharply, pretty quickly. Don't get annoyed, just go and fix it. I do it all the time. I make spelling errors and things happen. You just go and fix it and you kind of laugh it off, but remain serious that you know what you're doing. The other side to that is that the client is basically taking a bit of control and wanting to have his own mark on the design and being a bit more of a designer. Now, when that happens, you could just email them, and I would suggest to do it all in emails and rarely talk on the phone about anything to do with the design, because you need it written down so you can see exactly what they're saying, so you can reread it and reread it. So what I would suggest to do is send them an email with something such as, could you let me know the specific things you do not like about this overall design, what you like, what you don't like, the advantages and disadvantages to you. Now, what that's asking when you do that is you're telling the client, I've got a specific mode of feedback, and they're going to give you specific feedback. They're not just going to go around and around this sort of, I need this little bit changed. They're going to start to see it as for what it is and start being accustomed to the design. Another tip is when a client says to you, we like it, but it doesn't fit who we are. It's not our thing. Well, this means that you've gone full steam ahead on an idea that doesn't work for them. And clients are in the complete right to do this, especially when it's like a brochure and you haven't followed the creative brief. Maybe a design agency has asked you to illustrate something like, a drawing for a poster design or some, design elements for the poster design. If you've gone full steam ahead on an idea that doesn't work, then you need to go basically back to the drawing board with that. It's all a learning process. The way that I like to see it is like the process of elimination. Eliminate the ideas with the client. Let them know that this is part of the process this, which it is, and tell them that every time, you know, we get some feedback like this, it actually helps me when it's specific enough. The next example and tip that I'll give you is when I'm working on a logo and they say, okay, I like this, but could you make it bigger, or could you move this here, or could you just rotate that bit? To a logo designer, that is like a really bad thing to do, because you've specifically been working on this for a long time and you don't want to change it, because when you change it, you're sort of getting rid of the whole design aesthetic. The normal approach you'll see in design communities when you get this is basically explain to them in an email why you won't do it, or just explain to them why not. Well, what I do is very different, because my design is basically done. I like it. What I do is I do exactly what they ask me to do. It just takes a couple of minutes. If it's something that takes a few minutes, just do it and show them the differences. Now, this can be risky, but most of the time what happens is that if you know it's going to look bad and not make sense, and you can trust the client to know that too, then when you show them, it will make them go, oh yes, okay, now I understand why you're saying that. Now that does a few things for you. Number one, it makes you more trustworthy. They actually trust what you say in the future. Two, it makes you look better as a designer. So not only trustworthy, it makes you look better. Now they are encouraged by what you do. The moral of client feedback and anything that you get is that you need to make sure that the client is in full understanding with you, that you are both in a collaborative mode, that you're not just going to be a producer for the client. You're not producing an idea that they've come up with. You're an actual designer and you design things. You make decisions and you want the best for their company, and you're not just doing it for yourself. This is the whole point. So I find myself in the situation a lot of the time when I've designed the logo that I will spend about a week working with the client on refining it. And every time we do the refinement process, the client will ask me to change something about it. Now, I don't see that as a negative thing anymore. What I normally do is I show them as a tester. So what I do is I go, yes, we can experiment with this and then see which one's better by the process of elimination. And trust me, it works every time, because one, you're being nice to the client. Two, the client trusts you. And three, the client knows now and is being educated throughout the process. And luckily for us designers, we can educate clients on these things whilst working on them. And we don't have to just say we're not doing that and we're not doing this, but you can actually work with the client that's paying you. Now, there is an asterisk on top of that point there, which is this: if the client is running you around the mill and you're not getting anywhere and it just feels like you're going in circles, then you need to be honest with the client. The worst thing you can do is not talk to the client. If you ever just stop talking to them and just like go dead silent, you're not going to get anywhere. It won't go away. You need to make sure that you are the leader of that situation. When you're a designer and you've got a 50% deposit down, you are both on even keels. You both are working together on this amazing project. So instead of being quiet, or instead of just saying yes to little revisions and stuff, make sure that you're asking people in the community and getting advice. What I would normally do is find someone who can mediate. When you have a problem with a designer with negative feedback and you don't think you're getting anywhere, and the designer just doesn't like anything that you've done, sometimes the best thing to do is just to call it quits, or to give them the work and be honest with them about it in a very kind way. Well, I hope that video helped a lot of you guys. It's an amazing thing working with clients, and it's really, really fun to do and can be very stressful. But what I would suggest, if you're a client on here that is watching this to work out how designers are gaining your feedback, a little tip for you guys would be you have to be clear and specific, but also look at the generality of the design project. Don't nitpick. Just let the designer get on with it, depending on the project, obviously. But make sure that you're just encouraging them and give designer leeway and creative freedom, and you will be astounded at what comes out of designers' minds and onto the page. Guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I just want to give a huge thank you to FreshBooks for sponsoring this video. Now, a lot of you guys normally click away during the sponsored segment of a video, but I would encourage you not to, because without them, we wouldn't be able to have this channel and we wouldn't be able to do what we do and teach you guys and give you guys free content. FreshBooks is an online accounting software, and if you're a designer and you send work to people and you need to get paid, then you need an online account software that works specifically for you. FreshBooks is great because it works with small businesses. It allows you to send invoices, gather up your expenses, and have a rundown of how much you've made very easily all on one platform. You actually get paid even faster in FreshBooks because when you send an invoice, there's a little pay me now button at the top right, which a client can just easily pay you on. And not only that, you can communicate with the client in regards to the invoice on FreshBooks directly. And the best feature, you can see when a client has viewed your invoice, which is amazing. So no more of clients' missed payments because you know exactly when they open that email and saw that invoice. Seriously though, don't take my word for it. Go ahead and click the link down the stairs in the description and you will get 30 days for completely free, risk-free. And also when you're on there and you click that link, make sure you tell them who sent them to you, which is me, Will Paterson. If you haven't already, guys, please press that red subscribe button down below. It literally makes my day knowing that people are subscribing, and it's a very generous thing to do. So make sure you press that, share the video, and leave any comments down below. What do you think about client feedback? Let me know down below. Catch you guys in the next video. See you soon. Goodbye.